The New York Knicks' biggest problem has an obvious solution. Let's talk about it. My name is Paul. This is Big Apple Sports. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you very much. Please just take a quick second, like and subscribe. I'm trying to build a huge, awesome community of Knicks and Giants fans. I think there's a bright future ahead for both teams, especially with John Harbaugh coming, hopefully. But don't miss out on that. Every new person that likes and subscribes makes this community bigger and stronger and more fun. It's just a great place to engage in healthy debate, talk things out in the comment section, and just all things New York sports. So like and subscribe. And let's dive on into it. So obviously it's been a pretty rough couple of weeks for the Knicks. I think a lot of it's injuries. We don't need to panic. There's a lot of, the NBA regular season is long. Every team is going to go through some stretches like this, especially, Josh Hart missed some time. And now Jalen Brunson has been hurt. Like, it happens. We don't need to panic. But I do think, as we get to the last few weeks before the trade deadline, we really need to look at what this Knicks team needs to do to truly be a title contender. Because I think every person who has been watching the Knicks this year, a second round playoff exit is not what we're hoping for. This is a team that is championship or bust. It's the best Knicks team that we've had in decades. They need to win a title. And so I think it's time you got to evaluate the roster a little bit and see, what are we struggling with? And to me, the biggest thing is they struggle to protect the rim. Karl Anthony Towns, for all the great that he does on offense, he's not a rim protector. There's a reason that the Timberwolves traded 35 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. It's because they knew, okay, we got Cat, he's great down low scoring, but he's a revolving door at the rim on defense. So Rudy Gobert kind of balanced that out. And the Knicks, they have that in Mitchell Robinson, but that's where the biggest problem lies right here is, this article here kind of sold me on a few things. First, I'm not fully convinced it's time to part ways with Mitchell Robinson. Don't get too crazy with the headline. But something that they brought up here that I found is really interesting is breaking down the way Mitchell Robinson has affected the team. So he's missed 13 of 41 games. And it's been load management. And I totally respect they're going to load managing him. When he plays, he's so important to this team. But in the games he's played, they're 17 and 11. In the games without 8 and 4, you double, or 8 and 5. You double 8 and 5. That's 16 and 10 compared to 17 and 11. That's really not there really hasn't been a win-loss difference with him there. And then there's also he has been a little inconsistent at times. So when he has a positive score, a positive plus minus, the team is 11 and 2. When he's out there and he doesn't have a positive plus minus, he's 6 and 9. So basically, if he plays and he plays well, the team wins. The team is completely dominant, the championship contender that we want. If he doesn't play or doesn't have a good game, the team stinks. And that's kind of the issue that we have seen for a lot of this year is if he plays and he's playing well, this team's almost unbeatable. He's that level of player. He impacts so much on the game. But he's not perfect, and when he's not having his best game or he's in foul trouble or whatever, you just watch this team and it's man, they need somebody to help down low. And so that's where I think the Knicks have a couple solutions that they need to look into. The first would, of course, be trading Mitchell Robinson for somebody who does play every game and can be that reliable center 100% of the time rather than 25% of the time. Because, like I said, if you break down the numbers, he's playing 2/3 of their games, but in those games, only half the time is he really playing the kind of basketball you need out of there. So that leads to a couple solutions that could happen. So the first is you keep him. Everybody knows the Knicks want to trade Gershon Yabusele, so you could keep Mitchell Robinson and then trade for, do a minor trade for like a backup center on another team. So I thought of Nick Richards, and then I saw another person throw out Day'Ron Sharpe from the Nets. If you look at their defensive ratings for their careers, Mitchell Robinson has the worst defensive rating of the three of them. So both Nick Richards and Day'Ron Sharpe have been statistically better defensively and could do a good job of, they're not the rebounders Mitchell Robinson is. Like, I don't know that anybody is that level of rebounder, but Karl Anthony Towns does pull down some boards. Josh Hart crashes the boards really well. Like, we need somebody to defend the paint, as well as Robinson does, plus rebound, and we need somebody who can do that every game. And so I think if you add it, like if you were to trade Gershon and maybe you'd have to throw in like a second round pick or something and add like a Nick Richards or a Day'Ron Sharpe, and then be able to have that consistency where it's like, hey, you know what, Mitchell Robinson, we're going to load manage you, but we have Nick Richards or Day'Ron Sharpe to pair with Karl Anthony Towns. And you can get a little bit more defensively even when Mitchell Robinson isn't playing. Or, obviously, the other solution is you could end up trading Mitchell Robinson as a part of a much bigger trade. And I know a lot of people have been kind of on the... I think most Knicks fans I've talked to have been against Giannis because you'd have to trade like a Karl Anthony Towns or a Mikal Bridges or one of our top players to get him. So I'm not going to talk about Giannis today, but I do think that there are some other good candidates. I saw Sports Talk New York, I think they're called. They put out a few different trade ideas that I liked. So let's look at those real quick. The first one would be to get Ivica Zubac from the Clippers. I think they thought they were contenders, but they've been struggling big time this year. And this dude would be perfect with Brunson. Like, he's averaging 15 and 11. He can protect the paint. He can score. He'd be great off of the pick and roll with Jalen Brunson. Their proposal would be Mitchell Robinson, Gershon Yabusele, that first-round pick from the Wizards that could turn into 2 seconds, could be a first, depends on how the Wizards play the rest of this year, and then a 2032 first-round pick. I think I would do this in a second because, I love Mitchell Robinson. When he's on, he's one of the most fun players to watch in the NBA. I don't want this to come out as like an anti-Mitchell Robinson video, but it's just like with the load management, even if he starts playing full games, I think there's just always going to be that fear of re-injury. He's going to need a new contract after this year. I don't know that the Knicks are going to be able to afford him. He might be in his last year as a Knick regardless of anything else. So, if you can flip him here to the Clippers for this, that's a huge win in my opinion. And then the other trade that I saw, and I really go back and forth on this one, is for Jaren Jackson Jr. They offered in this trade Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, Pacome Daddier, the Wizards pick, a couple pick swaps, the 2032 first-round pick, and any second-round pick we can throw at him. And I think the struggle I have with this trade is you could see so easily that Josh Hart is the heart and soul of this team. His energy, his intensity, his leadership, all of that, he really is the glue of this team that holds everybody together. So even getting a talented player like Jaren Jackson, it's so tough to think about losing Josh Hart. On the other side of that, though, it's with that defense, him and Karl Anthony Towns together, the way they both can score, Jackson can be that rim protector they need. And then obviously with like Brunson, Anunoby, Bridges, Towns, Jaren Jackson would maybe be one of the best starting fives in the history of the NBA. Obviously, there'd be some depth issues, but I think with Deuce McBride and Shamet, maybe you flip Gershon. It looks like he wouldn't be a part of this trade for somebody you can rely on a little bit more. Jordan Clarkson, obviously, Tyler Kolek, but it's tempting. I mean, this is a very tempting one. I don't think I'm fully against just a straight up Towns for Jaren Jackson swap. Maybe you'd have to throw a pick in there. But I think there's a lot of options. But I think at this point, with the way the Knicks have been playing, something's got to give. Like, I know you can't, like, I started this video by saying, like, you can't panic too much. Teams have stretches like this in the NBA, and maybe they'll end up being okay without making a move. I do think that's a possibility. But it's tough to watch the way this team has played recently and see some of these holes on defense and feel like this is a team that can beat the Thunder in a 7-game series or even like the Pistons in a 7-game series. So I feel like a move is imminent. A move has to happen. A small trade like for a Nick Richards or a Day'Ron Sharpe, like that could be all you need just to kind of pick up Mitchell Robinson when he needs it, when he needs that rest. But, a big-time trade could be on the horizon, too. We'll see. You guys, let me know what trade you'd like to see. If you'd like to just see a smaller one to solidify things at center, or if you are in the camp of I want to see them shake things up big time for a Zubac or a Jaren Jackson or even a Giannis. Let me know in the comments. And then, like I said, like and subscribe. Trying to grow a big-time Knicks and Giants community here. So don't miss out on being a part of that. And I'll catch you with some more content tomorrow.